Welcome back here at the Media Corner. Before You Skip Talk Show, we have the next guest we're here with us. We've seen portraits of people, paintings with portraits of people, but have you ever seen a portrait of a real diamond? Well, look no further because it's just here by our side. I have with me the painter Angie Crabtree. She is an icon of the modern art world. Welcome, Angie.
Thank you. Hello.
Thank you for accepting our invitation to talk about your art. Tell me, how did you start it and what made you choose this muse for your work?
Yes, I am an American artist and I am from Los Angeles. I did my first diamond painting in 2011 to put in an exhibit called Living the Dream in San Francisco. And the entire exhibit was about what is the American dream and what does it mean to me. And of course, owning a large diamond was part of that. So I did a very large painting and I got so much good feedback on it that a bunch of clients asked me if I could paint their diamond. And of course I said yes. And before that, I was doing a lot of work about luxury in general and just a commentary on luxury and how it makes you feel. But I shifted my focus specifically to gemstones because I felt a special connection with them because they're realistic portraits, but they're also abstract. They can be an open to interpretation regardless of whether you're a fan of diamonds or not, but they just make really beautiful works. And to me, painting them is very meditative. You know, I get to paint each individual facet. I get to focus on the colors, the reflections, the sparkle. So it's just very fun for me. And when I started doing this, it just got so popular. I got invited to a bunch of jewelry shows and I just loved doing it. I met so many people in the industry. I got to talk to gem cutters, diamond dealers. I got to see so many special, rare, fancy diamonds that I just became obsessed with painting diamonds, and I'm so happy to be here where people appreciate my work.
Thank you so much for being here. Tell us, what is the process behind making such a painting? How long do you study a certain diamond? What techniques do you use?
Yeah, so all of my work is created in oil on panel. I custom create each panel to be the exact shape of the diamond. I have seen most of the diamonds I paint in person. Sometimes I don't if they're extremely rare, but I have plenty of high resolution photos, videos. I see all the different angles and I get to study the faceting so I can make the portrait as accurate as possible. I don't want it to look made up out of my head. I want to see all the nuances of the diamond, how it captures color, if there's special inclusions. I add all of that into the painting so it's like a real portrait.
Here at Monte Carlo Gems, you're even doing a live painting show. What are people's reactions when they see your work?
They get very excited. They always ask, how long does it take me? The process is very slow. It takes around 200 hours to create something like this, and it's over the span of a few months because it takes multiple layers. Each layer takes a couple weeks to dry, so I'm constantly rotating between different colored diamond paintings. Most of the pieces I do are commissioned, so if somebody has a really special gemstone that they want to highlight, maybe it's an heirloom piece or something that they've collected, they can come to me and ask me to create a portrait of that specific stone. And what's so cool about that is I get to talk to them about the story of the diamond, what does that diamond mean to them, is it in their family, how did they acquire the diamond, and so it's a nice collaborative process that I get to work with my clients to figure out why is this diamond important and how can I reflect that in the painting.
What is the most interesting story of a diamond? As every human, I imagine they have a unique story. Can you remember one of them?
Yeah, well, I'll say that I have a lot of private clients that have heirloom stones, and when it's passed down in the family or goes from daughter to daughter. I love those stories the best. Obviously, engagement rings are a big deal because those are special to the heart, but I've had many diamond collectors who bought something at auction. For example, the Pink Promise. They got a big portrait of that, actually many portraits. I've painted special stones that are going to come to the market, like a small version of the Baby Hope. They call it the Baby Hope. It glows, and there's certain techniques I can do where I can make the painting glow in UV light. And that's something that I've started recently because it just reenacts how the gemstone looks in person. And then some of my favorites are green diamonds. That's my favorite color, green and pink. And I've painted a lot of green diamonds that were exhibited in the Natural History Museum in Los Angeles, owned by Optimum Diamonds, one of my favorites. He has the most gorgeous stones, and you know, when those stones are part of history, it just makes it so much more special.
Do you think you found here at Monte Carlo Gems the next diamond that you want to paint?
That's hard. I would say I've seen a lot of gorgeous emeralds and Paribas. Those are my absolute favorites. So whenever I come to a gem show, I walk around and I try to get inspiration because I do a lot of commissions, but I also do a lot of paintings for myself that I just really genuinely like. And like I said, I love greens, turquoise, pinks. So I know for sure I'm gonna be painting one of the emeralds in this show.
For example, the painting that you're doing live right now, where is it going to go? What would be its home? Do you know?
That's a good question. That is not a commission. That was my own selected piece. So I guess when I find the right collector who feels a connection with it, it'll go in their home.
All right. Tell me also, how long do you study a certain diamond before you decide to paint it? How many hours?
Yeah, I mean, the studying is really done while I'm painting it, right? I've spent a lot of time studying facet patterns because that's the most important. What's interesting to me is the faceting on top and the faceting on the back of the diamond, because the question is, how do you capture everything without making it too hard on the eyes? So what I like to do is make very sharp lines for any of the facets on the top in the table of the diamond, and then I blur everything from behind so your eyes can focus. So that's what I spend the most time studying. And of course the color, right? Because it's hard to get accurate color from a photo or a video, because depending on the lighting, it could be warm light, it could be cool light, the blue could look more gray, the blue could look more green. So seeing it in person, especially in natural light, makes it easier for me. There have been times where I painted a blue diamond and the buyer said, I feel like it was a little bit more blue-gray, so I'll take it back and make some corrections, because it's really important to me that I capture the exact color of the diamond.
Yes, it's mesmerizing. I would also be curious to know what's next in your artist life. Do you plan on using a new technique, as you said earlier, the glow-in-the-dark technique, or tell me what's new in the art world?
Yeah, for sure. Well, regarding the diamonds, I'm trying to create a paint that is heat sensitive, because gemstones, for example, alexandrite or something, they can be light sensitive, they can be heat sensitive, and I think that could be cool. But my next project, which also includes diamonds, I'm doing some portraits that I call the Queen series, and it's portraits of people who have collected a lot of luxury goods. It could be handbags, it could be diamonds and jewelry, anything luxury, and just stacked all over them. And I have a really good time with it because I get to go online shopping and pick out everything that I would buy. And then it's like, if my dream was to have anything I wanted in the world, what would it be? And of course, I include all these big historical gemstones, things I could never actually get my hands on. But it's really fun for me to discuss luxury and what does it mean? How does it make you feel very powerful, feeling like I have all these things, I feel so beautiful, and just consumerism in general, you know, it's fun for me.
How does a diamond portrait painter feel here at Monte Carlo Gems, surrounded by so many gems and so much inspiration?
You know, They make me feel great because they come from Earth. I love natural diamonds because to me, the art of the gemstone coming out of the ground, Earth made this piece. It's like a sculpture. And then a faceter comes, facets the stone. To me, that's a sculpture. I paint their sculpture and then we give it to a jeweler and they make a gorgeous piece of jewelry. So to me, it's a big collaborative process. It's like we're all working together with Mother Earth to create this amazing piece. And like I said, it's very meditative for me to paint these because it takes hours and hours, but I really enjoy getting into these details, starting from here to the last facet. It's like the most amazing satisfaction.
So beautifully said. Did you in the past paint any other subjects, or how did you stop exactly at diamonds?
Yeah, I was always very big on portraiture. I never imagined I would do gem portraiture, but before that I used to paint a lot of other luxury items. So in that first show about the American dream, I painted American money, I painted blank checks, I painted crowns and jewels, and then I just ended up focusing on the gemstones because I like how ambiguous it is, you know, it's like it's open to interpretation. But like I said, I'm kind of going back to doing something a little bit more of a formal portrait. The difference in these portraits is that the portrait, you can't really see the face. It's almost like a porcelain figure. It's white, kind of see-through like a ghost, because it's not about the person. It's about the void that we're trying to fill by collecting all these luxury goods, me, myself included. But it's just a nice conversation piece.
Indeed. Tell me, we are in Monaco. Have you ever been here before, and what inspires you from the city?
I have not been to Monaco before. What inspires me is meeting cool people from all over the world, the beautiful atmosphere. I'm in Los Angeles. I love great weather. And unfortunately, I've been working so much that I haven't had a ton of time to visit the area, but I am going to stay for a few extra days after the show because my birthday is coming up and I'm going to treat myself to some fun things.
Well, enjoy so much. I would also want to know if for you it makes a difference to paint here in such a bright space, lots of lights, lots of people, or you prefer to be at home in your quiet atelier?
It's a good question. I like both. I really like to be in my privacy with my own music, but I find so much inspiration coming to these events because people say, oh, I don't want to bother you while you're painting, and I'm like, no, please come, because I love to have conversations with people about them. I love for people to take photos of them and photos with the painting because it's nice to get their perspective on the piece, because some people will say, oh, I've seen that stone, or that's my favorite color, or that's my dream stone. And I'm like, yeah, I know, me too. So it is nice to have conversations with these people because they appreciate it. And when you're around a high jewelry event, it's like so much inspiration. I want to paint that, I want to paint that. So it's nice to do this a few times a year to kind of get out of my element.
Which memory will stay in your heart from your stay here at Monte Carlo Gem?
Probably the dinner we had together with all of the exhibitors, the dancing, the food. It's been so nice to meet the other exhibitors from all parts of the world because from my understanding, there's not many American exhibitors. I may be the only one. Actually, no, maybe one other. But it's nice to come out of my element because I do a lot of shows in America, and it's nice to, go international and show the world what I can do.
Such a beautiful story. And lastly, maybe tell people where can they follow you? Where do you sell your paintings? Do you have a website?
Yeah, absolutely. My website is angiecrabtree.com. You can find me on Instagram, Angie_Crabtree. I do have collectors all over the world, so I've heard people say, oh, I saw your painting here, I saw your painting here, and it makes me really excited. But if anybody's interested in getting a portrait of your gemstone, you can contact me directly, and I would love to speak with you.
Angie, thank you so much. I have a sparkling personality just like your paintings. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
And for you, I will tell you thank you so much for your attention. I hope you visit Angie's stand and you have an inspiring visit at Monte Carlo Gems. See you later.